Hello everybody and welcome back to a new video. This one is going to be the Squid Game tutorial series episode 1. We're starting from scratch in the default third person map inside of Unreal Engine. So I briefly want to go over what we're going to be learning in this tutorial series. This is going to be quite a few parts and I think it's going to be really valuable to anybody that sticks around to the end of the series. So we're going to be learning about levels, level design, sound design, animation, importing characters, creating our custom animations, and basically everything in between. So the aim of this tutorial series isn't really to do with Squid Game. Like, it is, but it isn't. I want this to be really valuable for people, and I want people to be able to learn the fundamentals in game design and using Unreal Engine. And it's a good opportunity for me to learn at the exact same time. That's why I like doing it. But hopefully, everything you learn in this tutorial series will be transferable to whatever game you want, even if it's just, well, might not be a game, it might just be animation, or it might just be level design, or something like that. But yeah, that is the goal for this tutorial series. I'm going to stop waffling now and we're going to actually do some stuff. So basically, as you've seen in the background, I've created a new level, added some lights, and then I've clicked on landscape mode. We've chosen our size and I'm adding the material, which is, I think it's sandstone. Let's just have a look. Sandstone, yeah, this one. So yeah, in this one today, we're actually going to be focusing on the level design because I do not like working in that third person map. I think it's just so boring. I know a lot of people teach the fundamentals first and then they go into level design, but I'm going to do it the other way around so it looks cool while we're learning. Right, okay, so we have our third person map. We have a blank level. We have our landscape with our sandstone texture on it, our material. We're going to remove the grid by clicking show and then unchecking this grid because it's so annoying. And then we're going to right click anywhere on the surface and then we're going to go to player start and just drag this up a little bit so it doesn't say bad size because that means you are overlapping with something else and your player will not be able to spawn in. Now we need to drag in a reference into the map so we get like a feel for the scale of the map. So I've just dragged in the BP third person character out of the content folder. Just like this, and then we're going to add in a couple of cubes. So I've just got to shapes, cube, drag this in just like this, position it somewhere over to the left, and these cubes are going to be our walls. Now this goes without saying, but obviously real life and TV series and movies are completely different to video games. Now we could do a one-to-one replica of the Squid Game level or the Squid Game map for red light, green light, but it's probably not going to work or it's not going to play well. We need to actually like compensate for the feel, and we kind of want to make it like intense so it's actually fun. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it might be the scale might be off one-to-one, but we'll make it good for an actual game. So basically what I've just done, I've just changed the scale here to 250, and I'm just going to scale it up so we have a huge wall. Now, this is, like I said, trial and error, because we're not actually making a one-to-one. The main thing we need to do is just make it feel good. So I've just dragged this over to the left-hand side. I'm just going to position it so it feels kind of like claustrophobic. Well, we have space, but it's claustrophobic, like enough play space to actually play in. And I've just changed that to 25, just dragged it up just like this. And this is looking pretty good to me. So I'm going to hold Alt on my keyboard, and I'm just going to drag this over to the left-hand side. Oops, it did not work. Let's just drag it over here for now. Just about there, and then hold Alt on the keyboard and drag it over just like this. That will duplicate this wall. Now we're getting this kind of like arena that we want to make. Now I'm going to share with you a little trick that I use pretty much every single day when I do level design, or every single time anyway, and it's something called PureRef. This is just a free program that you can use. Just download it. And what you can do, you can just copy the link of an image or copy an image, and you can have it on your screen 24/7, and it will show over any application on your PC. So just give me a sec and let me try and get this up, because I'm not sure it's showing on my OBS right now. There we go. Alright, so what I've done, I've just copied a link of the random Google image search and just pasted it on top of this program. And what we can actually do is we can scale it, we can scroll our mouse up and down, and it'll stay on the screen at all times. So it's pretty handy when doing level design, just to get a kind of like a reference or like a feel for the scale. Okay, sweet, it's looking good, but we need to scale down the landscape because it just didn't really fit with the reference image we got from PureRef. Okay, so I'm just scaling down the landscape, and then I'm going to scale down the walls and skip ahead because I don't really think there's anything to learn here, to be honest. It's just tedious trial and error. So I'll skip ahead. Okay, sweet. So this is what I've landed on. This looks a little bit more better for the game. And what we need to do now is actually add a back wall. So I'm just going to go into rotation mode by pressing space, hold Alt, and just rotate it while holding Alt, and that will duplicate it in a 90-degree axis, just like I did then. Hopefully that made sense. I'm just going to drag it on, just slot it anywhere. It doesn't really matter for now. Like I said, this is just kind of basic. We can get onto more complex stuff later. Now, there's a little bit missing at the back, so I'm just going to move this landscape back a little bit, just like this, just so it fits a little bit better. And then we need to move the BP third person character and the player start back into the map, just like this. I'm just going to leave the back wall for now, even though it looks like we can fall off, but we'll sort that out when we actually get a little bit further into the tutorial. So this is looking pretty good for the shape. I'm actually kind of liking this. Now, we need to design the walls, and I am going to do this on Photoshop and give you a little watch along as to how I make these. If you want, you can just get something off Google. In fact, no, actually, this is going to be on the Patreon, so you can just go on the Patreon if you want to get it. It's up to you. But Google's your next best friend. So I just found this little image on Google. I've just copied it and removed the background on Photoshop. I'm just going to drag it down to the bottom of the screen. The size of this image is 1920 by 1080, if anybody is wondering. And I'm just going to zoom in using our reference on PureRef and just have a little look around. Doesn't need to be one-to-one. To be honest, I don't really want to get copyright strikes anyway, so, you know, like that. And we're going to hold Alt and just drag to the left. This will duplicate it. Duplicate it like 3 times. And then shift select everything. So 1, 2, and 3, just like that. Drag them into the middle. Okay. Now we need something in the background, and we need a sky as well. So I'm just looking on Google on my other monitor, and I've just found this. This is going to be used for our background. So I'm just going to position it here. I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to drag the layer below our like corn layer or whatever it is. What even is that? Is it like wheat? Wheat, yeah. And then I'm just going to change the opacity so it looks like it's in the distance. We might have to find a better image than this because I don't actually like this. But, you know, let me have a look. Okay, so I got another image. This one looks a little bit better. Looks like it's fading off into the distance. I'm going to put this over the wheat layer. I'm just going to mess with the opacity just like this and delete that other layer. Sweet. Now we have like this kind of fading background. Now we need to add in a sky, so I'm just going to go on Google once again and just add a sky. But before this, actually, wait. Let me see if I can add a drop shadow to these to make them stand out a little bit more in the foreground. Okay, there we go. I need to select them one at a time, so I'm just going to click drop shadow. Move this out of the way, and then I'm going to mess with the opacity, just like this. There we get a little bit of a shadow. We'll keep the distance the same, spread it out a little bit, move the size, then move the spread back down to like 5, 4, and change the colour to white or like a grey. Let's try white. Mess with the opacity a little bit more just so it stands out. Click OK, and now we can hold Alt and drag these drop shadows onto the other layers. Now I'm just going to go on Google, get a random sky, and I'm just going to drag it in, and basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to mask and paint over so we basically hide half of it, and it will kind of blend into the image. So I'm just going to do that now. Here's the sky, and we'll just drag this about here onto this horizon, click the little plus, the tick. We're going to go to filters, add some Gaussian blur, just move up the blur a little bit because this image is quite pixelated, but it won't really matter because we're on a massive wall anyway. And then I'm going to click mask, move my brush just like this, and we're just going to paint it in. And now we have a wheat field and a sky. Sweet. That is basically how you would make a material. And then here is how you import it to Unreal Engine. Okay, so we actually want to go to File, Export, Quick Export PNG, and then we're just going to rename it something like Squid Game Wall. Yeah, that'll do. And then we can actually go back to Unreal Engine, and this is basically how easy it is to get your own like custom materials in. We can just go to my folders, go to my desktop, and drag it into the content browser just like this, and it will create us a texture. And then when we drag it onto the wall, it will create a material. Material created, wall material. Okay, the UVs are a little bit messed up. It looks a little bit stretched out, but we'll sort that in a minute. But it's kind of looking pretty good. Now, in the actual texture, we can actually go down, we can change some stuff. So if you don't like the stuff I did in Photoshop, we can actually just change the brightness and the contrast, vibrance, saturation, all this kind of stuff. I'm just going to have a little mess about it there. Why not? Mess with the vibrance a little bit of saturation, and then probably just leave the rest of it. Sweet. Click save, and we can X out of that in a second. But we actually need to okay, we can X out of this now, and what we're going to do, we're just going to change this material. We're going to add a texture coordinate node to our texture sample. So just type in texture coordinate. This will change the UVs. Drag this into the UVs of the texture sample. Click this little down arrow to expand. And then we're going to change the tiling. I can't remember if it's 0.1 or if it's 2. I think it's 2. Okay, that's 0.9. Let's try 0.1. That definitely did not work. We can choose the cube here to get a better preview as well. Let's try 2. There we go, much better. Right, we're just going to use this. I mean, it is duplicating the material, but it looks good enough. Now what we can do is just drag this onto the other walls. So just size this down, drag it onto the other walls like this. Okay, sweet. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and downloaded a random tree off Sketchfab, and I've just dragged it into the content folder just like this. I'm just going to click import, just like that, and then we're just going to drag this tree into like against the back wall. But the tree is looking tiny, so let's actually just drag it into the map, and let's just scale it up by like 1,000. Maybe, yeah, that'll do. Make sure the padlock is checked as well. We will change this tree out. This is just a placeholder for now. And just find a nice place to put it. Yeah, just like this. Okay, we have our tree. Now we need our infamous Squid Game doll. Now, we can get this off Fab, or we can get it off Sketchfab. I can't find the one on Fab, but there is one somewhere. I've used it before. But this one is by a guy called Business Yuan. I think I've just butchered your name. Sorry, mate, but thank you for letting us use the doll. We're going to download this as an FBX, and I'm just going to drag this into the content folder when it's all extracted. So, let's do that. Right, now let's create a new folder to keep everything organized, and we're going to put all of our map assets in here. So we're just going to rename this folder map assets, and it's going to have like the materials for the tree, the static mesh for the tree, and it's going to also host our doll for now. Okay, next, speaking of the doll, let's drag in our doll. This is just a static mesh with some textures, and we're going to create a blueprint class in a moment. So here is the texture, and here is the static meshes. So what do we need to do to make this look good? We need to actually open the material, and right here we need to drag in our material color, drag this over here and replace the RGB. Make sure you replace the RGB with the base color, not the material function. I made a mistake. Now we've got all the static meshes properly textured, we can actually make a new blueprint class by right clicking in the content browser, go into blueprint, creating an actor blueprint, and we're going to name it BP doll. Now, see these 3 static meshes here? We're going to actually add these into this blueprint so we can actually rotate the head properly. So let's select the head, the bow tie, and the body, just like this. Now, if I select the body or the head and like rotate them, they will all rotate differently, and they haven't really got a pivot point. So we're actually going to use a scene component and make our own pivot point. So I'm just dragging the bow tie onto the body and the doll's head onto the bow tie. So they're kind of sort of parented. As you can see, when we move the bow tie, the doll's head moves. So here's a little trick. Click add and then search for scene component. Or just scene. Just like this. We're going to rename this pivot point. This is a invisible place like inside of the map, I guess, inside the blueprint. It just gives off a location basically. And if we drag the pivot onto the body and then the bow tie onto the pivot and then the doll's head onto the bow tie, you can slow that down if you want. It's complex for me as well. But yeah, if it is in the right order, just like it is on my screen now, it'll work perfectly. So as you can see here, I've just selected the bow tie, and if we just drag it down just like this, it's all messed up. But then when we actually, let's just move this forward a little bit. When we actually move the pivot point, it'll be working correctly. So let me just show you, just like this. That's why we did it the way I just did it. Okay, so I've just made the head facing backwards on the doll. I've just dragged the doll into the map. And when I say the doll, I mean the BP doll, not the static mesh, the one we just created. And we need to scale it up because it's really tiny, just like that. And then we can just kind of adjust to how we like. We can also move the tree about as well. Now, once that's done, we're going to add another cube by clicking here and going to shapes, cube, and this is going to be pretty important, this cube. This is going to hold a lot of logic, but right now it's just going to be a placeholder, so we can actually just drag it out and make our little finish line. Later, we will create a blueprint for this and make it so that when the character crosses it, they're actually safe. So this will be pretty important later on in the video. So I'm just going to drag it down just like this. And that is our finish line. So what we're going to do next is create a little safe zone, and when we're in this safe zone, we want the players not to be able to attack each other. So we're going to just use a placeholder for now. I'm just going to expand this cube of the finish line, make it here, and we'll create a little safe zone. Let's just select this, select a random material, and that will be it. Now, in the next episode, I think I'm going to make a character introduction, which is basically we're going to create our own little character, add animations to it, make sure they can run, jump, strafe, and maybe push other players or something like that. Something a little bit cheesy to annoy other players. But yeah, we'll get into that next video. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something new, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.